Have you ever contemplated how our current economic situation mirrors the times of the Great Depression? It's a sobering thought, isn't it? Yet, if we take a moment to look closely, the parallels become eerily apparent. Like the specter of the 1930s, today we are faced with rising unemployment rates. Workers from all sectors, from hospitality to manufacturing, are finding themselves jobless, their livelihoods hanging by a thread. This is not just a statistic on a page, but a harsh reality for many families, echoing the struggles faced by our forebears during the Great Depression. Inflation, too, is rearing its ugly head, much like it did back then. The prices of essential goods are increasing, making it harder to make ends meet. The cost of living is spiraling upwards while wages remain stagnant. It's like a haunting refrain from a song of the past, the melody of hardship and struggle playing once again. Food scarcity, an issue we thought was a relic of the past, is becoming a pressing concern. With poor harvests and disrupted supply chains, we're seeing the kind of food shortages that were commonplace in the Depression era. Shelves in supermarkets are increasingly bare, and the specter of hunger looms large, reminding us of the lean times of our not-so-distant history. These signs, these echoes of the past, are more than just coincidences. They're warning bells, alerts for us to sit up and take notice. They suggest that history might be repeating itself, and that we must prepare ourselves for the possibility of tough times ahead. But it's not all doom and gloom. By acknowledging these parallels, we arm ourselves with knowledge, and knowledge is power. Recognizing the signs and understanding their implications is the first step in preparing for what may lie ahead. The lessons of the past are our guide, our compass in this sea of uncertainty. So, as we delve into the echoes of the past, let's remember, we are not helpless. We can learn, adapt, and prepare. We can use the wisdom of yesteryears to navigate the challenges of today, because after all, understanding these parallels is the first step in preparing for what may lie ahead. The Great Depression was a time of hardship, but it also brought forth an era of resilience and resourcefulness. As we traverse the echoes of those tough times today, we can learn a lot from the survival strategies of the 1930s. One of the key strategies was rationing. During the Great Depression, people had to make do with less, and so they learned to stretch their resources to the limit. They rationed food, fuel, and other necessities, making every bit count. Families would plan their meals with care, using every part of the food they had. Nothing was wasted. Bones were boiled for broth, stale bread was used in bread pudding, and leftovers were creatively repurposed into new meals. Bartering was another essential survival strategy. Money was scarce, and so people traded goods and services with their neighbors. A farmer might trade eggs for a carpenter's skills, or a seamstress might mend clothes in exchange for homegrown vegetables. This system of trade not only allowed people to obtain what they needed, but also fostered a sense of community and mutual support. Home-based solutions became the norm. People couldn't afford to buy new items or pay for services, so they learned to do things themselves. Clothes were mended instead of being replaced, and household items were repaired rather than discarded. People grew their own food in backyard gardens, canned their harvest for the winter months, and saved seeds for the next planting season. They made their own soap, baked their own bread, and even brewed their own beer. In the 1930s, people knew the value of every penny and every possession. They took care of their belongings, making them last as long as possible. They also learned to live without certain luxuries, focusing instead on their basic needs. This mindset of frugality and minimalism helped them survive the tough economic times. Moreover, education and skills were highly valued. People learned practical skills like sewing, carpentry, and cooking, which not only saved them money, but also made them more self-sufficient. These skills were often passed down from generation to generation, ensuring that the wisdom of survival didn't get lost. Looking back, it's clear that the strategies used during the Great Depression were not just about physical survival. They were about maintaining dignity, building resilience, and fostering community in the face of adversity. They were about more than just getting by. They were about thriving despite the circumstances. As we face our own economic uncertainties today, these lessons from the past are more relevant than ever. We, too, can learn to ration our resources, barter with our neighbors, and find home-based solutions to our problems. We can learn to value what we have, live frugally, and acquire practical skills. In the face of adversity, we can choose to be resourceful and resilient, just like the folks of the 1930s. And in doing so, we can not only survive but thrive, no matter what comes our way. These survival tactics from the past could be our lifeline in the present. In times of economic uncertainty, practical survival skills can make all the difference. Picture this. You're in a world where the grocery store shelves are consistently sparse and the cost of living is steadily rising. It sounds bleak, doesn't it? But don't worry, we're not here to scare you, we're here to prepare you. In such situations, it's essential to stretch your food supplies, make your own essentials, and maintain self-sufficiency. First off, let's talk about stretching your food supplies. The key here is to get creative with your meal planning. Go for recipes that use fewer ingredients but still pack a nutritional punch. Root vegetables like potatoes and carrots, for instance, are cost-effective, versatile, and can be stored for long periods. Next, let's discuss making your own essentials. Did you know you can make soap, candles, and even toothpaste right in your own kitchen? It's a skill that comes in handy when store-bought items become scarce or expensive. Plus, it's surprisingly simple and cost-effective. For instance, making soap from scratch involves just a few ingredients: lye, water, and fat. It's a project that not only saves you money but also gives you control over what goes into your products. And what about maintaining self-sufficiency? This is where your DIY skills come into play. From mending clothes to fixing leaky faucets, learning to do it yourself can save you a significant amount of money. Plus, it's incredibly empowering to know you can rely on yourself to solve problems and meet your basic needs. Now let's shift our focus to creating a sustainable food supply. One of the best ways to do this is through canning and preserving. It's a time-honored tradition that allows you to store fruits, vegetables, and even meats for months or even years. From sweet jams and jellies to savory pickles and sauces, the possibilities are endless. And the best part? You'll have access to homegrown, preservative-free food all year round. Last but not least, consider starting a home garden. It's a great way to supplement your food supply with fresh, nutritious produce. And you don't need a sprawling backyard to do it. Many vegetables, like tomatoes, lettuce, and peppers, can be grown in containers on a balcony or windowsill. Plus, gardening is a rewarding activity that can provide a sense of accomplishment and peace in uncertain times. So there you have it. Practical survival skills that can help you weather any economic storm. It's all about being resourceful, adaptable, and self-reliant. Remember, it's not just about surviving, but thriving no matter what comes your way. With these essential survival tips, you can navigate through any economic hardship. Resilience isn't just about surviving, it's about thriving despite adversity. Now let's talk about resilience, a quality that was key to surviving the Great Depression. Resilience is not just about bouncing back from a disaster, it's about learning, adapting, and becoming stronger in the face of adversity. During the Great Depression, people didn't only survive, they found ways to thrive, and these lessons are ones we can all learn from. The first lesson is about community. The Great Depression taught us that no one can go it alone. People banded together, helping each other out in times of need. Neighbors shared what little they had, families took in relatives, and communities created support systems. These networks weren't just about sharing resources, they were about sharing hope, strength, and resilience. In today's world, building a community might look different, but the principle remains the same. It's about forging connections, looking out for each other, and knowing that you're not alone in this struggle. Next, let's talk about resourcefulness, another key trait of resilience. During the Great Depression, people had to make do with what they had, and they became masters of improvisation. Clothes were patched and repatched, meals were created from scraps, and every last bit of a resource was used. Nothing was wasted. Today, resourcefulness might mean learning new skills, like how to grow your own food, fix your own appliances, or even build your own furniture. It's about being creative, flexible, and making the most of what you have. Remember, it's not about having the most resources, it's about using what you have in the most efficient way. Finally, let's discuss adaptability. The Great Depression was a time of great change, and those who were able to adapt thrived. People moved to where the jobs were, they adjusted their lifestyles, they learned new skills. They did what they had to do to survive. In our current situation, adaptability might mean changing careers, learning new technologies, or finding new ways to save money. It's about being open to change, being willing to learn, and being ready to take on whatever comes your way. Building resilience is not a one-time thing. It's a continuous process, a journey. Each challenge you face, each obstacle you overcome, each new skill you learn adds to your resilience. It's about taking the lessons from the past and applying them to your present. Remember, resilience isn't just about surviving the tough times. It's about learning, growing, and thriving, no matter what life throws at you. Just as the people of the Great Depression did, we too can build resilience. We too can overcome. We too can thrive. Building resilience is a journey, and every step you take strengthens your ability to weather any storm. The lessons of the past can guide us in preparing for future challenges. As we delve into the final chapter of this journey, let's shift our focus to the future. It's a future that may be fraught with uncertainty, but with the right preparation, we can weather any storm that comes our way. Our forebears who lived through the Great Depression knew this all too well. They understood the importance of being ready for whatever life might throw at them. They stockpiled essentials, managed their finances wisely, and developed practical skills that served them in good stead. These strategies from the past remain relevant today and can help us prepare for potential future crises. Stockpiling was a common practice during the Great Depression. People stored food, water, and other essential supplies to tide them over during tough times. Today, it's equally important to have a well-stocked pantry and emergency supplies. However, stockpiling isn't just about hoarding, it's about careful planning and smart choices. It's about ensuring you have a diverse range of items, from non-perishable food and water to essential medical supplies and tools. And it's about rotating your stock to ensure nothing goes to waste. But preparation goes beyond just stockpiling. Financial management was another key survival strategy during the Depression. People learned to live within their means, save diligently, and avoid unnecessary debt. These principles still hold true today. In uncertain times, it's crucial to have a clear understanding of your income and expenses. It's wise to have a buffer of savings for emergencies and to avoid debt wherever possible. If you can, invest in tangible assets that hold their value, like land or gold. These can provide a safety net if the economy takes a downturn. Practical skills were another invaluable asset during the Depression. People learned to do more with less. They learned to repair rather than replace, to grow their own food, to sew their own clothes, and to make the most of what they had. Today, these skills are just as relevant. Learning to be self-sufficient not only saves money but also makes you less dependent on external systems that might fail in a crisis. But let's not forget one of the most important lessons from the past, the power of community. During the Great Depression, communities came together to support each other. They shared resources, skills, and knowledge. They bartered goods and services. They cared for the vulnerable and helped each other survive. Today, as we face our own challenges, let's remember the importance of community. Let's reach out to our neighbors, share what we can, and support each other. Together, we are stronger. In the end, preparing for the future isn't just about survival. It's about resilience. It's about adapting to change, overcoming adversity, and emerging stronger. It's about learning from the past, planning for the future, and living in the present. It's about making the most of what we have and finding joy and fulfillment in the simple things. So, as we look to the future, let's take these lessons from the past to heart. Let's stockpile wisely, manage our finances, hone our practical skills, and build our communities. Let's prepare for whatever challenges may come our way, not with fear, but with confidence and resilience. By learning from the past and preparing for the future, we can face any challenge with confidence and resilience.